Yeah, the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice last year was absolutely amazing. A lot of memories made that are remembered, that whoever wins this tournament also is qualified for that tournament there. And, well, it's still the Intel Extreme Masters, and it's fantastic to win one of those.
Yeah, we actually won some way back in the CLG days, and so it was like 2.5 years ago. It's so long. It was at Gamescom. It was just really awesome. Just so many people there, and the crowd was just so pumped up, and everybody just swarming you. It's just a really amazing experience, and just to see everybody hyped up for the games.
Yeah, especially it's taken a bit of a different role now here. They've got teams are testing out their rosters, but still, especially a team like Gambit, they have said so many times how much they love beating that international competition. So I bet it must be very important for them as well. What are we thinking here in terms of picks and bans for this best of 3 coming up? Of course, there are the things we know will always get banned. The Aurelia a lot of banned, the Gnar first pick. But for this one specifically, after what you've seen of Dignitas.
Well, I mean, there's a Sivir first ban right there. I actually think banning the Sivir out might call for a Corki first pick.
A very good guess that Sivir would be first banned out, but I bet we'll see in a second. Saint was casting off the wrong screen, but very good prediction. What else, Saint?
It's late. I'm a fortune teller. I don't. Oh well, look, actually whoa, hold up.
Hold up.
I wasn't. I didn't. I called this and it didn't show up yet, but they did. They did first pick it. So screw you.
They did. Well,
yeah. I ruined this all. I hate this.
No. Start from the beginning. We don't have them up on the screen yet, but the bans here coming in. I can't actually see, so you're going to have to read them out for me.
Okay, I'm just going to read out the bans. All right.
Go ahead.
So, Gambit banned Sivir, LeBlanc, and Rengar, and Dignitas banned Gnar, Jarvan, and Lee Sin. And the moment I saw that Sivir ban out of Gambit, it's like a real big tell that they want to first pick Corki, because a lot of people have been picking Sivir as a counterpick to Corki because of the Frost Bomb. You can just block it with your shield and just gain mana and just push the wave in.
All right, and then on the other side, what we will see Huffington as first 2 picks. We have put so much on that Jarvan, but it's banned out here. So what will they be going for in the first rotation here at Dignitas?
I really like the Rumble first pick. Very strong pick, and usually first picked in a lot of regions because of his potential to have like disrupting ultimates at level 6. But I don't like the Kha'Zix, maybe because of 3 jungle bans, but I would have liked to see Janna pick up actually to not give it to Corki. Like Corki and Janna in general together is like super good. But yeah, we see the Kha'Zix jungle pick here.
I don't know about the Kha'Zix early rotate. Like I mean, it's like a decent jungler in this current meta, but maybe they just don't really want to show their other champions. And it does give physical damage, which is really needed if you end up with an AP top and an AP mid.
I mean, there's a lot of synergy between Kha'Zix and Rumble, because when Rumble gets a good ultimate off, Kha'Zix can just jump in, finish off low targets. But overall, he's not a very good jungler right now. Like, there are better junglers for sure right now, but we just have to see what Gambit is actually gonna pick for the
jungle. Yeah, on the other side, for the mid lane
maybe
at
we'll
least.
See some unconventional picks.
Let's hope so that Diamond brings him out.
Maybe some Zac, man.
I'm telling you, man, the Zac's coming. I feel it in my bones. It's coming.
Well, you're a bit tired, so I'm not really.
I am a bit tired, but I'm not like going mental and stuff. He's gonna pick the Zac, man. I feel the goop bouncing over here. It's coming.
Yeah. Well, let's look at what Gambit is locked in. Thresh, of course, for Edward. He is the Thresh king. He's been there for the longest time, and a Syndra for Nick in the bottom lane. Of course, they banned out that LeBlanc, so he's absolutely going for that.
I really like the pickup of Dignitas here, Janna and Ezreal. Like Ezreal is a good pick. Okay, maybe they don't.
I think Janna Graves would actually be a lot better. Graves
is really good. Yeah,
is a much stronger lane versus Corki. It's, a lot of people actually consider it a counter pick just because you can brawl him in the early lane phase a lot better. And then yeah, your buckshot just does more damage if you're getting in the scraps. And they're both low range champions as well. But they're actually going to go with the Ezreal. I think what they might do with that is they might rotate that to mid and just keep it as an ambiguous
that's what I was saying. Ezreal is really good here because the way you pick and draft right now on purple side is you try to get as many flex picks as possible, and then with the last pick you lock in your team composition. But Ezreal can go mid lane. I know Shifter plays it, so maybe we see something like a double AD composition. Might be good with Rumble because no one will magic resist, and then we can just see Rumble completely destroying team fights.
Well,
but yeah.
It is just the Pantheon coming in here for Diamond, which is totally meta now. A little bit disappointed, but I'm sure he can make some good plays on that one, and the Irelia for the top lane.
We have a lot of early game pressure on like every single lane here. Like I really like Gambit's comp, like very snowbally. If they get the tiny bit of lead, they just group up. Like on the power spike of Corki, Triforce, Sock Boots, we have talked about that a lot. Group up mid lane, 50-minute mark, just take down 2 towers, and then very good catch potential too with Syndra. And in general, Syndra is a very good safe pick in mid lane right now because she's there's like less jungle pressure overall in the game, and Syndra just lane bully, always has been.
And they're really easy to layer CC too. 4 members on their team actually have CC.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, yeah, it is actually going to be the double AD.
Yeah.
They have a lot of CC on Gambit's team, but it's really hard to lock down Ezreal and like this double AD team comp. Very mobile champions on all for all the Dignitas members outside of the Rumble. So unless they can hit some really good stuns, they might actually get kited around.
The big problem with double AD is if you fall behind, there's no way to come back actually.
Yeah.
If you don't have that burst damage to actually like burst someone down, or with double AD, it's very hard to catch someone out of position, and they don't really have any form of CC, and they just have to rely on their superior vision control to actually manage to close out the game. But yeah,
I really don't like the Kazakhs with that though. Like that's going back to that Kazakhs fix. I don't know why they locked it in so early. If they had the intent of going double AD, Kazakhs just doesn't really fit well with double. You want more like a Nunu or like even an Elise, some kind of tank.
Well, we will see how it plays out, what strategy they have up their sleeves. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. My name is Joe Miller, joined here by not Crepo, because he's actually ill, so we've sent him home so that we're all not ill at Christmas. Is, of course, Demon
Almost the same.
and Officio.
Hello.
Yeah, we don't want to get ill at Christmas, so we kick Crepo out.
Yeah, I was already saying, it's like, oh, buddy, you get me ill, I mean, you're in trouble with, like, everyone.
Yeah, people aren't going to be happy if that happens. But we are going to be moving into our first game of our second semi-final. Of course, it is Dignitas versus Gambit. And, well, we can run straight through the teams here because we're almost ready to go. Dignitas, of course, Gamzu, Crumbs, Shifter, Core JJ, and Kiwi Kid.
And of course, for Gambit, a couple of new faces for you guys. Cabochard replacing Kubon towards the end of the LCS season. Diamond Prox in there. Well, he's a legend. Everybody knows he is. Nick in the mid lane as well. Played the entire summer. Pinoy is the new AD carry. I think came just towards the end of the EU LCS season. And Big Eddie alongside him, who is the original Thresh Prince.
Indeed. And actually, Gambit here, they talked about it on the analyst desk. That is a very, very strong early to mid-game comp they have here. And against double AD carry, if you do get the lead early on, if the Pantheon gets rolling, it becomes super hard for Dignitas to do anything right here. And notice how every single lane from Gambit has a CC. They can lock down a target, Pantheon jumps in, and there you have an easy kill for Diamond.
And this is, you know, I think said it right. We don't really know what to expect from Gambit because we've not seen him in the recent past, that's for sure, and we'll see what they've actually brought to the table here today for this semi-final game against Team Dignitas, who yesterday honestly looks a little bit shaky, but I guess you can expect that from a team with 2 brand new players in there.
Yeah, Shifter was talking about them being nervous. It was the first time they've really been playing with the new roster here. Of course, they practiced quite a lot, but Edward tried to stop the Grom, and he might get punished for it.
Oh, comes around, Crumbs jumps on him, does manage to get the flay away, but quickly caught with the Void Spikes. That will slow him down. Kiwi Kid gonna come around, had the shield, level 1, the exhaust goes down, Eddie has to burn the flash, but Core JJ comes around, Phosphorus Rock from Pinoy, the flay is gonna be enough, I'm not sure. Crumbs exhausted this time, Eddie just about gets away. Pinoy now can turn the aggression onto Core JJ, Phosphorus Bomb catches on them both, and Core JJ is now, wow, aggressive stuff early on there. all from Eddie, trying to get in there, get that sneaky play, but it's delayed Crumbs enough. And look at Diamond, he's coming hunting.
And meanwhile, we had this whole fight happening around the Grump. Down at the Crooks, actually. Oh, in the mid lane.
Yeah, Diamond going for this one. Shifter, though, did manage to get himself onto his turret. There was the arcane shift in there, so must have leveled that up. Yeah, put a point in that early on from this, so didn't have to use his flash in the end. But a very, very chaotic start to this one. And Saint, you know, a bit of a prophet predicting those picks and bans even though they're on the screen in front of him, and said this one's going to be a crazy one as well. And so far, he's definitely not wrong whatsoever. This bottom lane, though, Deficio, what do we think to, you know, Edward and the now the artist formerly known as Chris Lund?
Yeah, so, I mean, looking back at the relegation for these two, the laning phase, nothing special, to be honest. But in the late game, in the team fights, both Eddie and Chris Lund, or Pinoy as he's called now, performed super well against SK Prime, but of course Gambit won 3-1. And overall, I'm not too sure what to expect from him in terms of playing against, obviously, Dignitas bottom lane here, who didn't look too good. If we look back to yesterday's game, but also coming into the LCS, because I never consider Pinoy one of the best AD carries or one of the big talents here in Europe.
And we're also going to look towards this mid lane. Nick was, I think it's safe to say, a steady player throughout the last season. He wasn't amazing, but he was also fairly reliable throughout the whole of the summer. Yeah. It's like he never had a particularly bad game. We were like, oh my God, Nick really messed that one up. But you also never had an amazing game where you're like, wow, Nick was fantastic in that game. But then again, he did play a lot of Nidalee.
He did. He had a basically safe champion. Cinder was one of the picks he used a lot as well. And while he didn't kill people one-on-one, it gave him a very safe lane where he could constantly push it up like he can do against the Israel pick here for Shifter, who didn't get his assassin this time around, like we saw yesterday in every single game.
Well, depends how you play that Ezreal,
I guess.
Right, diving in there as the assassin in the end. We do have Diamond once again up in the jungle of Dignitas. That's the style that we love to see, you know, how Diamond really made his name, to be honest. Always in the enemy jungle. However, this might be bad for him. Crumb's going to dive in there. Dear. Shifter will join in as well. Nick's coming in. Double stun. Can they get the kill? Crumbs is low, but no. It will be Diamond that goes down first. And now the double buff's coming down. Shifter might go down here. Flashes away from it. And he manages to get the kill, giving him a double. He burned both his heal and his flash, but it was so well played by Shifter.
And that Raptor hit Nick so many times in this fight, 4 or 5 times at least, and then Shifter in the very end picks up the kill, double buff, very nice start. Diamond was looking for the Kha'Zix. When you are playing Pantheon, you are stronger in the early game, but there was just the communication between him and Nick in this mid lane. It seemed like a little bit delayed because Shifter was there first, able to turn it around and give the 2 kills over to Dignitas.
So, how do they approach this one? We talked about how was the potential for Snowball. That could have been it. That could well have been it. Diamond so close to getting the kills. If it was basically a case of which jungler would go down first, was going to decide which way that went. Cabochard in his top lane, playing it relatively safe. He's pushed up against his tower. He has got that CS advantage. Gets a good stunner towards Gamsu outside of the flame splitter as well, the radius. But he's got to be careful he doesn't get baited in. Crumbs is lying in wait. Diamond is nearby, but in no position to join this fight. And Crumbs may well go for it.
He's on his way, though.
He's coming around, but
Cabochard is level 6. He has the ult. He can bait this one and actually survive for quite a while. And then Diamond can join in. And look here, Crumbs still waiting around.
Gets the stun down. The ultimate's just come out. Level 6 versus level 5. He knows now. They know now. Gamsu coming around the side. Diamond's going to jump towards him. They need to get the stun down. Crumbs is instead just like, I'm going to run the hell away from this one. Gamsu, you look like you're in serious danger. Gamsu will go down. The question is, will they jump on towards Crumbs? Crumbs is going to back away. Crumbs already knew. He knew they'd already lost that fight.
Yeah, as soon as he saw Cabochard go aggressive there, not only was he level 6 already, level 5 on the side of Gamsu here on Rumble. There was no CC to lock down the Aurelia either. And it was just very nice setup. Cabochard knew he could go in, wait for Diamond, and pick up the kill.
Yeah, and if we look at the scoreboard, 20 CS the lead for Cabochard, doing really, really well. And we were kind of surprised that Aurelia got all the way through picks and bans. We were like, well, what are they going to play in the jungle? And in top, we were speculating here on the Cassis and like, oh yeah, Aurelia and Pantheon just happened to have made it through the entire draft.
Kind of surprising when you do ban the 2 best junglers, Lee Sin and Java, and you then take the Kha'Zix because you don't actually remove anything from the other team. Diamond used to be a big Kha'Zix player, but there are multiple other junglers he can play, and we've seen him play in the past. So a little bit weird for now, though, because they got the 2 kills around the Raptor beforehand. It is not too bad for Dignitas.
And we'll see how it works out. Diamond getting close to hitting that level 6, just needs the next camp, and the ulti will be available. Those man drops, of course, could be devastating. Got to keep our tracks on the flashes at the moment. Kiwi Kids is down, so it may well be a target down that bottom lane. Once that red buff goes down, it will be level 6 for him. Death sentence flung out from Eddie, quickly dodged out by Core JJ, who had I would say a balanced performance, I think it's safe to say, against Aces High. He didn't do great in one of the games, but did fantastic in the final matchup. But we'll see how it works out for them in this matchup. Of course, a lot of eyes on Dignitas because, you know, pulling 2 new Koreans in for an American team, it's something that a lot of teams have done, especially in America. We'll see how it works out for them.
I actually say they really struggled during the laning phase against Aces High in particular. You know, Holy Phoenix, we know how strong of a player he is, but those lanes didn't really go well whatsoever for Dignitas in any of those 3 matches.
It was a lot about Kiwi Kid as well, to be honest. I mean, he had some very weird plays. Randomly flashing forward and being caught out of position, end up dying. All in all, there's still probably a lot to work on for these 2 guys in this bottom lane. Probably some problems with the communication as well.
I mean, we've got to give them time, right? It's not like you can expect, especially a duo lane that's a Korean player, a North American player that just come together for the first time. And I guess Intelligent Mass for Dignitas really is a learning process as well.
And remember, Cutie Pie was the guy who played AD carry, and Kiwi Kid switched to support because they had this synergy together. They were great friends. He's never played with any other AD carry, so this is also the first time for him to really try and adapt to a new play style. He just had to pick up the plays like Cutie Pie had beforehand. Now it's completely new.
And we should also say that obviously Core JJ, well, we don't know yet, but I'm assuming he's got a pretty different play style to Cutie Pie. I don't think many really have the same play style as Cutie Pie.
Not even close. For now, though, they are actually pushing down to the top. You know, he's pretty low down here.
Actually, good work here, to be honest, from Dignitas, putting some real pressure on that buckshot, managing to find its way past the tower as we see Diamond once again up in the enemy jungle. Funnily enough, Kha'Zix was there on the other side, and that's a great ward over the top from Gamzu. We'll spot him out instantly, and the combo.
Wow.
The burst from the 2 AD carries, absolutely destroying Pinoy. They had no idea about that one.
Such
coming.
A nice setup here. Notice how Core JJ waited with his ulti until the Ezreal just hit Pinoy in the face. He had no time to heal. Ulti is just beautifully set up here by Dignitas, and a very nice kill. You also deny all the farm. You just push into the lane.
Well, in the top lane, we'll see how this works out because he's got a 30 CS advantage right now. Kabashard built up, of course, that kill on Gamsu has definitely slowed things down. You know, we're not shocked to see a Korean playing a Rumble player, but we'll see how it works out for them. Aurelia seemingly flavor of the tournament, honestly, in 421 so far, especially for the North American and European teams.
She fits this whole mid-game team fight, mid-game power spike so well. We always talk about her Trinity Force, which is the big power spike for her, where she can basically take over a game if she gets a good start. And we have seen how easy it is to set up ganks as Aurelia, because you're always going to get poked by the Rumble. You go and you land your stun with the E, and suddenly the jungler follows up. You have your kill, you can take a tower, and then you just take over.
What a Dignitas up to here. Crumbs and Kiwi Kid headed onto the bottom side of the jungle. We'll get rid of that first pink ward. Actually, Eddie had just coming back from base.
I think their timing's off there.
Yeah, there's nothing to actually take away. Even the Raptors have gone. And that will be a simple fact-finding mission, I think, more than anything at this stage. Get themselves a couple of deeper wards down on the bottom and the top side. And now Crumbs has headed towards this bottom side. Gambit must be aware, or at least should think so. There's a Lantern. Edward in a really nice position, way back in the lane, so that Pinoy could jump the Lantern straight to safety.
I really like the warding here by Crumbs and company on Dignitas, because Pantheon, he will be jumping from either his own jungle or from the lane itself, and it's pretty hard to walk between the 2 towers. It's near impossible to spot him there, but at least now you ward up the jungle, you can see him do the camps, and therefore also avoid this surprise gank from a Pantheon.
Well, we can see that the Dragon has started off. It's getting instantly backed away. They were just checking out whether there's any vision in there. Eddie had snuck a ward in the back of the pit, so they were well aware that it was happening. That's why Nick, as soon as he came down, True Shot Barrage rattles across, knocks him down to half hit points. points. Of course, that tier stacking with the Sheen does have a damage. Meanwhile, Core JJ goes full-on aggressive into Pinoy. Pinoy from range now. Oh, Eddie's been blown backwards. The exhaust goes down onto Core JJ. That's going to stop and mitigate all of the damage going his way. And again, these bot lane, they are not afraid to trade.
No, but at the moment here, Graves is a lot stronger than the Corki pick. You have your BF sword and a pickaxe. You're just so tanky as the Graves, and you have so much burst damage. Corki cannot take these trades here, and therefore we see them have to back away once again and just sit back and just have to farm with rockets.
Well, CS down there in favor of Core JJ. We've seen Nick time and time again backing over onto these Raptors. Actually, we'll get it. We saw Shifter trying to get in there to have a bit of a steal. Meanwhile, Core JJ down bottom has taken a big burst of damage. Not exactly sure what happened on that one, whether it was the hook that really put him in danger in the first place. But that will relieve a little bit of pressure now for Gambit, knowing that that Graves has to go back. Janet may be headed off back as well. And that means for now that lane will go a little quiet. So this top lane, though, nothing really changed there in terms of farm. It's all about Cabochard at this point of the game.
Yeah, 50 CS built up over him as well. That's a big, big gap starting to grow. 4 on Aurelia as well, who's going to get in that Triforce a lot earlier. Gamsu having to adjust his build, obviously, because he is against that Aurelia. Crumbs, he's going to get that crab down eventually. Diamond Proc's picking up the red buff. Let's see where he goes. Oh, not going to get the steal, but it hits Diamond. That's going to slow his jungle down.
Yeah, and they actually see how low he was as well, so he can now go back to base, even recalling on the ward. It opens up for Crumbs now if he wants to make a gank. The reason he's not going top lane at the moment is simply because it's too risky for him. If he goes up there and a counter gank comes in from the Pantheon, he will die and give even more kills. But they can run to the Dragon with Pantheon being back in base.
Pantheon nowhere near them, and they know it thanks to that true shot barrage from Shifter earlier on. This Dragon will go low. Eddie actually going across, and you see how wary Dignitas are of this one. They are going to manage to hook in Crumbs. There is a bit of a reset coming in onto the Dragon itself, down to 1600 HP. There it is, knocked down and will be smited away by Crumbs, who will jump off. Mandrop coming in, but very, very late there from Diamond.
Way off here. I mean, the hook from Eddie, even flash hook didn't land it, the stun didn't connect from Syndra, and obviously the ulti. It was actually cooldown for Diamond Prox. He was running from base, waiting for the cooldown, and that's why he couldn't jump in early, even though he actually got in range.
Yeah, very late. I think they were expecting, like you saw Nick, we went for the stun at the back. I was expecting them to probably peel, and then they didn't. And then I think they were kind of surprised by Dignitas committing so much to take it down. Instead, though, it does mean first Dragon goes to Dignitas. They have equal gold right now, but of course with that buff, that will give them that bonus should they try to fight. Trinity Force completed by Cabochard, so we've got to keep our eyes on any teleports that may come in, because he will absolutely have the advantage built up over Rumble, who has of course completed that Haunting Guys, who some would say back in the World's Championships, once you got the Haunting Guys and Source Boots, you're ready. You're done.
Yeah, basically you are ready. So by delaying it a little bit with the arm guard, we have seen before it can actually hurt you quite a lot because you need it for this first Dragon. But because Dignitas had the D boards, they spotted Diamond going back, they could actually take it and just back away. Didn't even have to fight, didn't need the Rumble, and therefore for now, the arm guard has paid off for him to be able to play a little bit safe, and second time,
close.
Almost.
That was really close. Eddie actually missing another hook down on the bottom while that's all going on, but Shifter definitely being on point so far, playing this Ezreal. 2-0-1, Trinity Force done for him. That tier been stacking up a while, and Cabochard is going to come in, puts a ward down. He's actually got 2 levels on Crumbs there. Looked like he didn't want to fight here. Shifter getting dumped on there by Nick. Was the Ignite available for Nick, but deciding not to use it. May have been enough to finish him off. Would have certainly been close by the end of all that.
Yeah, I feel like Gambit could have pushed their advantage in these solo lanes a bit more, because Shifter has just been firing his ulti left and right. He's not really been using it on Nick, and at the same time in the top lane, Cabochard has been ahead pretty much the entire time. You have the Pantheon early on, use him, use the lane pressure to go inside the enemy jungle, get your own deep wards down, and then you can start setting up dives. I mean, they could have killed this Rumble up in this top lane at least a few times, and we see how afraid Crumbs is every single time. Anything happens, he's like, oh, Pantheon is coming, I'm just going to run away.
Well, Gamsu is being set up for something nasty here. I think he's not falling for it though. Happy to stick towards his turret. Look at that. He was well aware of it. The dive's still coming nonetheless. Not too sure if he's going to be able to get away. Equalizer goes down. Ultimate burn, but that could well be the tower now for Gambit.
And look how easy it is for him to just jump him, force his splash, get him super low. That was just a combo from Couple Shot. It wasn't even anything from Diamond. If you had had the control in the enemy jungle, which you could have had because your lanes are doing so well, that Rumble had died at least 2 or 3 times.
Here is Crumbs though, gonna now make his way towards this bottom lane. What are we gonna see on top of this one? Edward already going very, very low from that, and they do finish off there are the TPs. Actually, Gambit, they'll both cancel actually. When he saw both coming in, both were cancelled in the end. Dignitas did get the kill down bottom. We did, however, see that the tower goes down in top, but it looks like Dignitas will answer with his outer bottom turret as well.
And as there's no tower in the mid lane here, but I think that's actually a super smart move. They won the fight, Shifter, he moved down instantly, and of course you cancel your teleport when you can see 3 members are around me and another teleport. So just a smart power play. This bottom lane has definitely been in favor of Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, there was while there were 2 to 3 low and Kabashar could have picked up a kill, there was an exhaust available. Gamsu instead, he's really not enjoying his time with Kabashar in his top lane. He's having a very good game on Aurelia early on.
And he's probably died about 100% less than good old Darian would have by now. The swag lord himself. Still miss him though, gotta say. Although,
he's back spamming solo queue. There's a chance he's coming back.
Crumbs has been sporting them sweatpants this weekend. We just need to get him a pair of red ones, then he can be the swag lord as well.
With Darian, while he did feat to win, as we obviously were discussing earlier with Saint, everybody has a story about Darian. Everybody has a story about a game against him where actually he may have been beaten in lane, but somehow got the better of you.
Always.
Yeah.
Every single time. He would just keep split pushing it. At some point, you just have to leave him alone. He would take 2 towers, and Gambit would back in the game.
Master of reverse psychology was Darian. Smart guy.
I mean, obviously, it was also back in the day where Dragon gave the gold, and Diamond Prox was the king of the jungle. He'd take every single dragon, and then it would just pay off because you get towers from Darian, dragons from Diamond, and everyone was happy.
I should say as well, with Nah, he was the first person I ever saw building complete tank build. Like, everybody else was like, no, Nah's not going to work. But he was just stomping through solo queue with that Nah. And now everybody is doing it. So everybody's copied Darian. That's what it is.
Look at Gamso here, though. That is not a build he's copied from anyone, because we always see magic penetration boots and early haunting guys on a rumble here. He's been mixing it up. Very, very defensive play style. And this simply means Gambit can actually now, if they just get a little bit of magic resist, ignore him and just focus on getting all the armor.
Crumbs, a lot of damage on him. Eddie doesn't land the hook. You know, when we saw the picks, we were like, well, they haven't really got a tank. Maybe that's what the role of Gamsu is trying to fill with this.
Well, then you don't pick Rumble. I mean,
well, it was first pick.
That's a problem. If you want the tank in this case, you would not take the Rumble. I mean, just looking at the bans and picks, Maokai would have been open. He played it yesterday and actually did really well. I believe he played it in the first 2 games. That could have been an option for him. I'm not too sure how it's going to fit in, and I actually don't know how they're going to play their team fights, because they don't really have any CC to lock down the target and then burst them. Nothing to keep them in place when the Rumble ultis, and they don't really have any real engage. It's just all about waiting for Gambit to engage onto you, and then like kite and try and blow up a target.
Dragon is up. Dignitas in position, ready and waiting. Kawashard being left alone. Are they going to trade the top inner turret for this Dragon? Teleport's available in a couple of seconds' time. Comes already taking some rockets. Oh, got stunned up actually by Nick. There's the equalizer. Good equalizer catching 3 members of Gambit, but again, forces them away only temporarily. Nobody started out the Dragon just yet, but Kabashard's still working down the top turret. This is all working in favor of Gambit right now. Dignitas start out the Dragon, and they're going to see if they can take it.
1,000 HP left on it, and he goes over to Gambit. It's going to be Nick that steals that one away, and now they just leave, so we've got no more business here. Steal away the Dragon, take the turret. Darian has been, you were saying it about 30 seconds ago that the way that they played was they take that top turret anyway, they'd somehow get the Dragon at the same time, and they do exactly that. Meanwhile, they're up in Dignitas' jungle.
They're still pushing. They're going for the red buff. Diamond Proxy's around there, but they've got to be careful. Kabashard's just above them. The smite comes in. Diamond takes the red buff away, I think. Are they going to go for more? No, they're happy to finish, and that really was a tragedy for Dignitas. Literally everything went wrong for them.
But it's what we just talked about as well. You have no real engage. You have no way to lock down a target. Like, they wanted to engage to force the teleport from Kabashard so he couldn't take the top tower. Gambit just walked straight out of the Rumble ulti and said, okay, we're just going to wait around a little bit more. Then, of course, an extra bonus, you get the steal and the top tower as well here. So Gambit, well played.
Yeah, I mean, that equalizer doesn't quite sting as much when you've got Merc Treads instead of Soak Shoes, for
We're
example.
going to see full armor stacking from Gambit here against all the physical damage.
The big thing is, that, you know, Cabochard, while he obviously was on his own taking that thing, he was getting way more farm than Gamsu. Gamsu was sat around for so long, and it's now an 80+ CS gap between the two. That is starting to really become a serious problem because nobody's going to be able to deal with Cabochard now on the split push.
No, not at all. I mean, it simply means for Gambit now, they can even take him down to a team fight because he can dive onto these AD carries super easy. They won't be able to kill him easily. Randuin's Omen is coming in super smart against, again, double AD carries. Jenna will be able to disengage the first time he jump in, but then Pantheon can follow up, lock down the target, long range central stun, maybe Big Boss AD can land a hook, and suddenly one of the AD carries are dead.
Well, let's see. Now going to see Crumbs coming around the side. That's a lot of damage. Again, comboing nicely, and there's a snipe from Shifter to pick off Eddie right through the wall there. Not exactly what Gambit were probably thinking of when they stepped forward there inside their own jungle. The question is now, can you get anywhere near the turret? Combs going to get stuck up, and there is the ultimate out of Nick. And we talked about him in the LCS. We didn't really have those moments where we're like, oh my god, Nick is a perfect replacement here in this mid lane for Gambit. However, today we've seen big stuns and those 2 kills, Dragon Steel already coming out of him. He's looking good.
Look at this. They're so worried about Cabochard now that actually they sent everyone down there and then completely left their middle exposed. Pinoy quickly took advantage of that and shoved straight towards the tower. And now, again, they're having to lose. And Cabochard's waiting. He's just waiting. As soon as Core JJ moves away from that, or maybe even comes down for this, Diamond is nearby as well. They could pounce on him.
Gambit is basically just going to set up for 1-4 now. Cabochard split pushing, and Diamond sitting in the mid lane with the rest of the team. You have long range poke and wave clear, of course, from Syndra and the Cork here, and you can just dive whoever shows up where Cabochard is with the Pantheon jumping from mid lane.
We saw there actually a quick TP to that top lane after clearing out that last wave. So Cabochard going to get back onto the farm trade, and if it continues like this, it's only going to take a couple more minutes, and he might just well pick up 100 CS lead over his opposite number.
Not sure that was the best use of teleport here, because again, you want to be split pushing and you want to have that option of joining the team fight on a relic. Now Dignitas can actually push out the lane, group 5 members, and if they see Cabochard in a side lane, try and start a fight. And then he won't be able to join.
Yeah, it was actually good work by Gamsu just to go up there. He did it fairly blind as well, so risky, but they kind of had vision of majority of players, of course, in that mid lane. So, Dignitas grouping. Let's see what they can take from this one. All 5 members hanging around this mid lane, seeing if they can force something. Of course, with the double AD comp, they can take towers down very quickly. The question is, can they get close enough? Nick doesn't land the stun on Core JJ, and Dignitas will keep the pressure on.
So we've seen a lot of Soul Stealer on Jenna lately. It is a good item on her because you are staying so far back and you're not supposed to die ever. Let's see what happens in mid lane though.
Well, Mandrop comes in, and that's the other beauty of Janna, especially against a Pantheon, that you can always knock him up. Like, it takes a lot to mess that Howling Gale up so that you don't actually get a knock-up. Pinoy, though, may just well get sniped. True Shot Barrages come in, and he flashes away.
2 ultis.
The equalizer actually made him move. He would have stayed where he was otherwise. That could have been the snipe they needed. As it stands, it is a 4v5. Cabochard going to pop that ultimate to clear the wave. That should go away. They've got to be careful they don't get dived on here. Cabochard could certainly do it. That stun not going to land. They were grouped up dangerously in a position where Nick could have landed a 4-man stun.
There's no AD carry, however, for Gambit here, and no ulti for Diamond. So far, because Shifter is doing so well in this Ezreal here, just sniping out people left and right, we actually see the 5 members stay and continue to try and push it down. It's all about Shifter at the moment.
Well, Diamond's going to try and flank around, but there is a ping ward in that bush giving them vision, and that's why Dignitas have been a little bit more cautious on this. They're both waves. Top one will go in Dignitas' favour, but the bottom one needs to be dealt with. That's going to keep that final outer turret, and that's where I think Shifter, to the light, looks like his Core JJ has got the better of the choice, and he's going to be the one that clears it.
We have to see if this Soul Stealer pays off, though, because it means you're delaying your Mikhails, which will be super important in this game, as it's all about Nick landing a long-range stun or the Pantheon jumping and stunning a target, and then you just blow them up. Mikhails will be the item to save it, followed by the ulti coming in from Kiwi Kids. So we have to see if it pays off. I mean, if he gets a lot of stacks and they can win the next few team fights, sure, it's good. Otherwise, it might actually end up costing you a team fight or two.
So Dragon spawning, 7 seconds time. Gambit trying to hold positional advantage to land a stun, not quite on the right point. Stun the crab up, not really the ideal that they're after, and that crab's going to go to Dignitas. So Dignitas will have vision here. Let's see if they don't get it stolen away from them again. They got the first dragon, remember? Gambit stole the second one. Nick locked that one up, and this is deadly. Scary, scary stuff. We do. Pinoy actually taken very low by Shifter. Shifter's causing all sorts of problems. Equalizer catches across, and he will go down. Nick gets pinned up as well, and that almost certainly is the dragon for Dignitas.
Such a beautiful combo here, and Gambit, they split up for some reason. They try to flank around with the Corki first. Shifter sees it, jumps down. Once again, he wins the one-on-one with Pinoy, and a beautiful equalizer combined with the ulti, and you have 2 kills.
Really nicely done as Cabochon going to dive forward here a little bit, but we'll just have the lantern there to take an easy path back to the safety of Edward there, who was just a little bit further back in the lane. So Dignitas with Dragon number 2. Almost said Baron. We're not quite that far into the game yet. 28 minutes in. 7-3 in kills the gold. Ridiculously even still. Second Dragon buff. We'll see what Dignitas can actually do with that one. Oh, we should note as well that Cabochon has gone over that 100 CS lead and he continues to be building that up even.
Yeah, I'm going for the tanky item, so he wants to be part of these team fights. I'm still not sure why Gambit tried to flank around, especially not with the AD carry. It's just so risky and just opens up a Shifter to look for these one-on-one plays again, which really works for him.
Last Whisper now completed by Shifter. He is a real shining light for Dignitas right now on this Ezreal. He's been sniping off. He's not afraid to use that True Shot Barrage at every moment he gets, trying to steal away those buffs. But now he's got a heck of a lot of damage. He's already been raking havoc. We'll see if he can snipe off someone else. It's been him that's been effectively initiating as well with the Arcane Shift. He's been the man that's been going in there every time. So Shifter keeping Dignitas' hopes alive, and now they have that 7-3 gold kill advantage. Gold advantage only just tipping their way. Of course, they have a lot of towers still on the board that they can stack up and get that gold. There's another snipe going across, this time to the Wolves, and that gives them the tower, and they're going to keep on pushing.
Yeah,
Gambit not stopping them.
They're feeling super safe. They have the Gen ready in case any engage happens to just disengage it, and that's 2 free towers. No reaction at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cabochon got the bottom to it, but that's about all. They're going to back off, and it looks like our Dignitas going to react to this one. You can see Diamond Prox is heading across. I think he's going to try and sit around the blue and see if he can pick someone up.
Oh, ward's going down. Cabochon continues to push that lane.
Kiwi thought about it, didn't
like, I'm just having a wander around. Should I bother? Should I back away? What should I do? Backing away seemed to be the smarter thing, and Kiwi Kid did indeed take that safer option this time around. Meanwhile, Pinoy's gone to the top lane, and we'll try and get him some farm back. He's 50 CS behind Core JJ at this point, not to mention that 2-0-2. If you look at the items, they kind of tell the story as well. There's going to be a Last Whisper in next, and as I say that, it's actually completed by Core JJ on top of his Static Shift and Infinity Edge. All the way around for Pinoy, he's moving towards his Bloodthirster to add on top of that Trinity Force. So still lacking a little bit on that front. See how that all works out for them, because at this point of the game, at least Dignitas, they're not holding on to a lead, albeit not a massive one.
No, but they have been able to group up and siege down these towers here and just relying on their poke. And we haven't actually seen Nick or Pinoy try and poke back or aim one of these long-range stuns here to start it. We have only seen one ulti from Diamond in terms of like trying to start a team fight, no TP behind from Cabochon. So it's been a little bit too easy for Shifter here to just sit back and poke and basically decide where you want to be. And it all started with that TP early on to the top and just to clear a few minions. Suddenly it was 5 versus 5, and Gambit has just been losing ever since.
Thornmail completed by Cabochon now, so that will help him out against his double AD comp, who neither have any form of lifesteal just yet. So we'll see whether it works out for them. Gamsu desperately trying to catch up. He's way behind in CS, but it doesn't matter. He's got the Zonias. Oh, Cabochon actually caught out here. Oh, the stuns quickly turns things around. There's going to be the man drop. Core JJ in trouble. Diamond will come on, and that will beat Nick with the kill. And suddenly, as they thought they caught Cabochon out, it's a 2-0 to Gambit.
And as soon as they try to be aggressive here and they look for the picks, instantly Cabochon turns it around. The rest of Gambit joins in, setting up for this Baron. Let's see. Quite a lot of wards around it from Gambit, so they can see if anyone tries to face check. For now, though, they just want to try and bait it.
Not sure it's going to work out for them there.
No, I mean...
No, they need a ping outside as well to see if there's any wards around, because Dignitas can actually see this happening due to the ward out here. Seeing Nick hit it.
They've got no vision in the back at this point. A ward over the wall, basically. Something going in. Camera shot, though. Actually going to dive. Gets knocked back against the wall. There is the equalizer coming through, but that's in the end really just going to help this Baron go lower. Down to 1800 HP. There it is. Taken down by Gambit. An opportunistic Baron, and now they're going to go for the kills. Shifter, will he be locked down? He will actually flash away, but Cabochard here is super tanky. Got good amounts of damage. Diamond going to come in from the side. Gamzu will activate that Zhonya's. A good Howling Gale should stop them in their tracks, and Gambit now have to back away.
Nice little setup here. There was a ward outside to see. Crumps. We have seen that before. Not the first time Nick pops him here, but very, very nice setup by Gambit. They get the 2 picks in mid lane instantly, because again, we're actually 32 minutes in already. There's not been a lot of kills, been more just poking, objective focus, but as soon as they go in there, pick up the Baron, no smite on the side of Dignitas to try and take it.
So, Gambit, just out of blue. We've talked about them so many times, you know, you give them a little bit of a limb, a little sniff of a finger, and they will absolutely rip your arm off. Baron picked up. It's amazing this game is actually 33 minutes. It seems to have gone quite quickly for me, this one. I don't know how we've suddenly hit this 33-minute mark, but nonetheless, Shifter is still that ray of light, as I said, for Dignitas. Picks himself up that blue buff. That will be important because he really needs to make some plays here to try and snipe someone off. Dragon is up. That will be the focus target for Dignitas this time around. I don't think Dignitas are going to try and contest it. It may simply be a true shot barrage that will come across and try to help out, but they have zero vision of that area, so it will be literally a Hail Mary, and Dignitas should pick up their, Gambit, sorry, should pick up their second Dragon of the game.
This is perfect. You get the second Dragon, you have your Baron buff. Now you need to go split up again. Cabochard doesn't have his teleport, but you can at least go send him in one lane, put all 4 other members in another one, and just push up these 2 waves, have the minions come up, buff them with your Baron buff, and you have the 15% more damage from the Dragon as well, and just start taking down these towers. We do also see Cabochard at the moment just sitting in mid lane.
Gotta be super careful how close you stand on these towers as well with Syndra there. We can see that buffed up cannon minion at the back. Literally the most annoying thing in the world. There's the ulti coming out of Nick again. He will just finish off Core JJ. He will actually go down straight away afterwards, and there's a man drop into the back here. Shifter gonna go down to half HP. Cabochard comes across as well, but Gambit might just keep going on this one, you know.
Yeah, they've got the minions, don't forget. There's the equalizer going down from Gamzu. He gets jumped on, hooked up. Zhonya's Hourglass. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so, because Cabochard is wreaking havoc around the back. Gets himself 1 and 2 down. Comes around, the inhibitor turret will go down. Death sentence lands on the Crumbs, and that's going to be Gamzu also locked up. No Zhonya's Hourglass this time around. Cabochard going to chase him onto tower. Yes, he is. Gets himself the triple kill and the inhibitor to boot, and Gambit, just like that, carve open a hole in Dignitas' base.
And that is how you use your Baron buff so well. The Gruber in front of the tower, nice setup by Nick here, stun onto Core JJ. They get the first kill and just push right through here, and Cabochard, what a monster.
Well, 5-0-2 he is now, with closing in on 350 CS. I mean, we're 35 minutes into game. That is a phenomenal rate for a top laner to have. Really having an easy time of it. Let's not forget, he earlier on finished off that Thornmail on top of his Randuin's Trinity Force. Now he's got a Warmog's armor in there as well. Money going into the tank bank for this one, and doing really well.
He's doing really well, I agree, Joe. The thing is, we talked about this earlier with the Rumble pick. Building so defensively in the start, at least, never really had much of an impact, and you just have so much physical damage now. And look at all the armor on Gambit's side. I mean, who's ever going to kill Cabochard?
Well, exactly. When you've got a tank bank behind you, you can easily keep on pushing. So, with the Warmogs now on him, he's got a chunk of hit points, a ton of damage, and just about can go where he pleases. He's not Mundo, but he has everything in his control. Gambit make the way towards the top. Bottom wave pushing in. Remember that super minions along the bottom as well that Dignitas will have to deal with eventually. So Gambit just going to play this one out. Eddie clearing out the ward coverage that Dignitas have got in there. And all the time, Pinoy is slowly but surely taking down the minions. Not quite going to land the stun, but Eddie was always short. We saw the four-man Aqua Prison actually in that bush earlier on, so Dignitas going to be well aware that was a dangerous play.
But all Gambit is doing right now is just forcing them out of the jungle here. So you place your own ward to take control of it, and then you push the waves into the base now, and you just wait for that one stun to land, blow up a target. I mean, only guy who can actually survive is probably the Rumble with the Outlast. Everyone else can just drop dead.
Well, that was the Arcane Barrage?
True shot barrage.
True shot barrage. Close enough. I know everyone knew I was talking about. You see it in the screens. Might not be enough though, because this inner turret is going to be going down. Gambit making easy work of that one. Meanwhile, the super minions are already into the base here of Dignitas. Been starting on those Nexus turrets. They're going to go for a second inhibitor turret, and those Janna shields at this point, honestly, not really offering up too much for them. The poke from Corki, a problem. You've always got to watch for Syndra throwing in those stuns as well, because Diamond and Cabochon are not going to be scared of diving right on top of you.
Dignitas holding on right now. Something I noticed Pinoy doing actually, because he's got that Bloodthirster on him. Ooh, that's half the hit points burn off Nick there. Because he's got that Bloodthirster and been building up the shield, he uses that, lets the tower burn through the shield while he puts a couple of basic attacks on there. He's quite happy to tank it through. Good to see. I like a good AD carrier that's not afraid to hit that turret. Yeah, that's for sure. That inhib turret is very low. Meanwhile, Cabochon back on the mid inner turret as well. Core JJ's trying to send off, but I would not want to get too close to that Aurelia right now. He is a beast, that's for sure.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure who can stop him. You might have to be sending two people in there, and then you lose your other side of the map anyway. I mean, we look at that turret, and it is incredibly low already after 3 or 4 waves push through. See there, Core JJ has to leave the mid lane turret, which he was trying to defend from Cabochon, to deal with super minions, which then pulls people from the top lane. They then take that one down. Gambit, ooh, that was close. Gambit playing this one by the book and not really taking any risks.
Not going to get him.
I think Summon a Heal. Yeah, Summon a Heal came out there from Pinoy just to keep Eddie alive.
I believe it's the accordion effect, as Crepo named it earlier on. What was it saying? I don't know which one did it. Wow. Were you not listening to us earlier?
I will have to admit,
Joe. You hurt me. You weren't even listening to the cast.
Normally, when you cast Lee, I prefer not to listen. And because I was on this with Dexter, we just had a nice talk about German bratwurst and how it was living in Berlin. Which, by the way, is nice. If you want to know.
I'm sure it's lovely.
It is great.
I'm sure it's lovely. One of these days I'll find out. But at the moment, the Super Minions, they are in the base of Dignitas, so you kind of want to deal with them, buddies. They are more worried about the fact that Baron, of course, was up. 10 seconds until the Dragon as well. But Gambit, they're already back. They've gone back. They've purchased. They've got everything they needed. You can see that Nexus turret down. Half the hit points now. And Dignitas are in last chance saloon here as Gambit set themselves up to start and bait the Baron.
Yeah, we just have to look at the comp now again from Dignitas here and ask, what was the plan? Because I'm still not sure how Rumble will fit in with the double AD carry in this case, except for you could put down your ulti behind the tower and the AD carries and kill the tower while the ulti zones away the enemy team. But that's basically it. The Kha'Zix pick have done nothing as well for them. They're just waiting for him. They want Crumbs to run straight in there and just get a ball in his face.
Really, really, Pinoy. They got a nice gank set up and you just go and do that. I guess you could say, oh, I'm just checking with that, but that didn't work out well. So, actually, blue buff's being stolen away while this is all happening. It is going to be Gambit in there. Cabochon will have that. And he may just try and shove that bottom wave. No, they're going to get Dragon because they're just delaying them, baiting them for the Baron, and they'll take a nice, easy Dragon.
Yeah, not really a surprise here, just taking away their 3rd Dragon that will be now. So they'll probably just get that, go towards this top side of the map. True Shot Barrage coming through will not actually hit anyone. There is the Dragon going down, and the move to Baron is surely imminent here. That's after they've pushed out this bottom wave. Get that one pushing back towards the inhibitor, which did respawn. So opening him top and bottom at this point. Dignitas really hanging on by a thread. There is Pinoy waiting. Last second Lantern out of there. And now he will be pushed away. There are 2 men pushing this bottom lane, and Dignitas are going to have to deal with that.
We've seen this before here, where Cabochon is pushing and Diamond is just waiting nearby, so he can jump in with his ulti whenever someone shows up. They kill them, take inhibitor, might even push further in the base if there's nobody to defend. So he's just staying around.
Yeah, he's looking which way he can drop, which way he can flank. Cabochard.
Well, look at Shift in the mid lane.
Is he going to bring in Gamsu? He can go either way at the moment. Is someone going to try and make a move? Pinoy actually may found Crumbs in this bush. He's going to face check it. Crumbs will get on towards him. Core JJ is there as well. He's going to try and Valkyrie. I'm not sure it's enough. And Core JJ gets the kill. That was not on the plan for Dignitas. Instead, Gamsu in trouble. He's got Zhonya's, remember. Cabochard going to try and force him away. Not enough. And that will delay them with Pinoy going down.
Yeah, right now, Gambit should have a lot more wards around this Baron. If they wanted to actually bait that one out while Cabochard was split pushing, you should never have a bush you have to face check. And it was too easy for Crumbs to just sneak in there and away from everything needs to be warded up. You have full control of the game. You have a massively fed Aurelia. Your Syndra can one-shot whoever she wants to. Take control here, get your pink wards, and get the Baron.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're going to go spend here 1,500 gold top, middle. And if you compare the gold, let's just compare the top laners at this point. 18,300, let's call it, to 11,000 gold over on Gamsu. He is so ridiculously far ahead. I mean, let's not lie here. He needs 10 CS to be 200 CS ahead. 200
Insane.
CS.
Absolutely insane. Gamsu was just pulled away from that lane. Once he fell behind, he ran down, he grouped up with his team. And he's just been denied all farm ever since, because how are you going to get the farm against 280 carries as well when you're forced to run around 5 versus 5?
You're not. You're not,
Exactly.
that's for sure. Yeah.
Don't tell AD carries in solo queue, however. They get enough farm already.
Well, the bottom inhib is saved, and Gambit, while they were doing a lot of pulling and pushing, were stalled out by Dignitas, and that's exactly what they need to do. They just need to try and find yet another pick and just keep holding on until they actually get strong enough that they can suddenly pick someone off and push an objective.
Well, right now they're just running 5 members to this bot lane inhibitor here. They don't even want to bait the Baron anymore. No wards around it. Just go straight for inhibitor. Force now at 5 versus 5.
He might actually get caught out. It's a nice little harpoon. It's a slow dive and actually lands a second. The stun of Nick not quite got the range there, but they're going to step forward. This inhibitor, honestly, I'm not sure they can even defend it. They're going to take some poke, trying to do so. Crumbs actually stepping out there, trying to stop this from happening, but just 1 or 2 more auto attacks from Pinoy will actually take that one down. There it is. The inhibitor being finished off once again, and there is Crumbs actually will live through that one. Cabochard diving to the back. They might go for a final fight here.
Well, the equalizer goes down, and Gambit forced to back away. Oh, Pinoy just dodging the True Shot barrage. That will do so much damage now. That really needed to land for Dignitas to keep themselves in this one. Gambit, though, will back away. Job done. In it down. That's all they needed, and that's going to push the super minions now along that bottom lane.
They need to be careful here. It could be
problems.
counter Baron, because they actually decided to run away here. They didn't run straight towards the Baron to defend it. This is the last chance.
They haven't all backed away, though. You can see Pinoy is still there. Diamond actually also chose to stick around. There we go.
Got no wards in there.
Dignitas are in there. They're starting the Baron. Now we see it. Teleport coming in. Cabochard's going to come around. Dignitas in trouble. Man drop going down. They're going to smash in there. Oh, the smite comes in as the man drop goes down. Diamond procs back in action. Core JJ gets himself the kill. Pinoy in all sorts of trouble getting on towards it. Crumbs hooked in by the Thresh Prince. Pinoy chases down Kiwi Kid. And now Gambit surely have the game in the bag.
But who needs smite when you can just smack down in the Baron with your man drop and kill him instantly? That was beautiful. A little bit risky, but it worked out for Gambit.
I mean, decisive play from Dignitas, and it's one of those FML moments where you're just like, really, we just can't do anything right in this game, apparently. We are going to see Gambit moving in, maybe looking for 1 or 2 more kills to finish off. There's Pinoy's second only of the game, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to move straight on through. The Nexus turrets will be torn to pieces, and it's Gambit that take game number 1 over Dignitas here in the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne semi-final.
Slow and steady wins the race here for Gambit Gaming. They had the lead with Cabochard pretty much from the start of the game, and we're just waiting around for these picks in the mid game. Lost the 2 towers in mid lane, and that's basically it.
And what a lead it was. You know, when you end the game, what, 19, just basically 20,000 gold to 12,000 gold. 8,000 gold differential between the top laners. That is absolutely the story of this game. Cabochard stepped it up, or was just Gamps who caught napping. I mean, there was that single gank, which actually, it was them that went down first blood. Dignitas got the first blood early on, but that really snowballed out of control for them. They have to deal with him next game.
Both these solo laners here were just in favor of Gambit. Shifted made some very nice plays around the map, but Nick had the control. He got the tower as well. They didn't really push the advantage in the solo lanes other than Capo shot up in this top lane here, just getting so far ahead. I mean, Gamso, he couldn't do anything. Built early arm guards, again, against the true damage of an Aurelia, wouldn't really help him as well. Delayed his own power spike. And all, we just have to look at the pick and ban phase and say, I'm not sure what the idea was. I'm hoping their analyst desk could tell us.
Yeah.
But they were also questioning it in the actual pick and ban phase.
Aurelia was the last pick as well, I think, for
Yeah, it was just left
last
open.
round.
Yeah.
Just left open.
I don't think it's going to get that far if he even gets into the picks in game number 2. But there's a lot to talk about.